Where is the, somebody link me the stove. I'll just pull it up. Screw it. Here we go. Stove. Man, all kinds of stuff came out, huh? No, wait, just one thing. We're excited for the new Covenant Hero. Covenant. It would say limited, not Covenant if it was limited. This is an old post. Where's the new post? It's a freaking YouTube video. Why can't they make a stove post and say, check out our YouTube video? Why are they so bad at, why are they so bad at promotion?
Don't misunderstand why the Monkey King appeared to you. It's not you who called me. It's I who chose you. Got it. You took me for it. Huge mistake! You think you can take me?
Immortal Wukong is an automatic doll developed in Politia using advanced materials, making him impervious to damage.
He sounds like TT. I don't know. I think his VA's pretty good. I was liking it.
He can only be destroyed through the Gingoa program. He was deemed a significant risk because of his
Okay, hang on. How did they say it?
Be destroyed through the Gingoa program.
Gingoa?
He was
Okay.
deemed a significant risk because of his unpredictable nature, so for a long while he had been sealed away. However, when a mission appeared for which no other candidate was deemed worthy, the decision was made to reactivate Immortal Wukong. Immortal Wukong is a 5-star Earth Elemental warrior. He has high health and attack, and can increase his attack further through his imprint concentration. Skill 2, the Immortal.
God, don't suck. I really... I remember sitting here going, wow, this Kane unit looks amazing. I hope he isn't just for Rift. Getting a serious case of deja vu here, guys. Increase critical hit resistance and pen by 35%, so it's going to go up to 5, 15 other... So it is 50% on pen and hit resistance. And then he's got basically Landy's passive.
Immortal 1. Increases critical hit resistance and penetration resistance by up to 50%.
And this is a passive, not a skill. So that means it'll stack with anti-crit up to 100%. Or stack with the artifact like
resistance
Snow
reduces
Crystal.
The effectiveness of defense penetration effects. Does not work on some damage types that ignore defense, such as additional damage or detonation effects. When the caster suffers a non-critical hit, increases attack and speed by 20%.
Landy has 70%, he only has... I mean, Landy gives a resistance buff. So those two will stack together.
Can stack up to 3 times.
Please don't stuck I can get hit with another
Skill
kind,
3.
please.
Yeah, I mean, how shitty is this that they made him an ML unit so that you couldn't get free stats from Elemental Advantage? And I guess it was the same thing with Xeon, right?
20%. Can stack up to 3 times.
Hey, Rastafarius.
Skill 3. Heavenly Fighter's Strike. Increases attack of the caster for 2 turns before attacking the enemy and stunning for 1 turn. When the caster's attack is greater than the target's attack, damage dealt increases proportional to the difference.
Okay, I think people are underestimating the shit out of this skill. It's gonna hit like a freaking wet noodle here because he's still got all the tentacles. And when he's got any of the tentacles up, single target attacks damage is reduced.
Up to a maximum of 70%. Unaffected by elemental disadvantage.
So...
Elemental disadvantage.
This theoretically should hit a lot harder if it's not a if it's not into these stupid tentacles, right? God, these tentacles actually take up debuff slots. So you can only have 2 debuffs on them, and as you get rid of them, do they stack into this? Do you get multiples of this one and it frees up slots, or do you get multiple ones?
Skill 1, Swing. Attacks the enemy.
This is the skill, right? This is the skill that makes him kind of a must-have for Rift, right? Because the AoE attacks are what get rid of the tentacles and turn them into the red tentacles. And he also does injury, so the barrier's really nice. And one of his skills resets your skill cooldowns. And Monkey Guy is the guy that you really don't care if his skill cooldowns are reset or not, because you kind of want him to do S1 skills, especially if we're running this on auto.
Enemy with Ru Yi Bang, and grants a barrier to the caster.
Oh, and also all kinds of horrible things happen to you if you get crit, and he does defense penetration.
When used on the caster's turn, attacks all enemies.
Which this guy is relatively immune to.
Does not trigger a dual attack.
I'm just struggling to think of who's going to survive in the front row.
Immortal Wukong's artifact, Ru Yi Jingu.
Okay, increases critical hit chance by 12% and hit resistance by 20. Wow. That's a pretty big stat stick. That's almost 40 gear score in one artifact, plus some crit resistance. You think Snow Crystal is just better? I mean, for the crit resistance, yeah, but you'll have to... I don't know, it's just a giant-ass stat stick. I don't know, because it would have to be a whale artifact. I mean, at what would halfway between this be? So at plus 15, it's going to be 18%. So for 18% crit chance and 20% crit resistance. Yeah, I think you might want this on him, just so that you can get the stats you're going to need to make him work in this. Snow Crystal might be nice everywhere else, but I don't know. I think you might want this for Rift. But the crit res doesn't stack, right? It's just an extra check? I believe so. That should be how it works. You shouldn't have 70%, you'd have 50%, then 20%, which... I'm bad at statistics, but that's probably somewhere around a 65%.
Originally used to measure the depths of rivers and seas, Wukong, able to wield
artifacts are typically separate checks.
Increases critical hit.
And the only way it's not a separate check is if this critical hit resistance is calculated as a stat, like a hidden stat. Then this would add to it, much in the same way this is added directly to your crit chance stat. If you have 88% crit chance, he's at 100% crit, right? Not an 88% chance, and then another 12% check to see if he crits, right? You always crit, 88 crit plus this artifact. So if this crit hit resistance is a hidden stat in his kit, then this will add directly to it, just like this directly adds to this stat. So I don't know how it's coded. And unfortunately, there's no really easy way to test it. I could ask Smilegate straight up how they do that, but they're really, really reluctant to give any kind of meta answers about their core mechanics to how these things work.
By up to 24%, and critical hit resistance by 20%. The Harbinger of Destruction, who makes the impossible possible. Players will be able to... The Harbinger...
You think he's going to make Rift, which will be impossible without him, possible with him?
Of Destruction, who makes the impossible possible. Players will be able to meet Immortal Wukong through the Drop Rate Up banner starting June 20th.
Okay, surely they're showing how he absolutely murders Janua, right? You got stunned and defense broken.
How's this? You arrogant punk. All I have is the I will erase them all. For a world without fault.
This is getting old. Shall we put an end?
Does Janua have to crit for his extra attack to go off? Is that why he only attacked once there? Okay.
If I must fight.
I thought, oh, that was his S3? Oh, because we're in arena and it's stupid. Because, yeah, an S1 would have killed him, right? Because an S1 would have hit, proc the extra turn, which would have hit. And with defense break on there, I don't think, even with the pen reduction, S1 definitely, S1 would have killed. S1, S2 would have killed.
She's mocking me.
How absurd. Like insects. Crunch beneath my feet. Which of my powers would you like to see? This is the pain you chose. Now, should we get started? I hope you're ready. Those who fear should give up.
See, guys, it was easy to kill Haste.
You think you could take
I don't know, guys. I think against the AI, he worked fine. I think any human being would have said, oh, stunned, defense braked monkey guy, I'll just hit S1 and now he's dead.
so? There's still filth to burn. If I can end it all with this.
I don't know. I'm still kind of on the fence, guys. I don't know that he's gonna be impactful in RTA. I think he's gonna be just a Rift unit, just a maybe an Arena or Guild War unit as a secondary way to deal with Janua in Guild Wars and regular Arena. But in RTA, man, I don't know. It's gonna take some serious top chefs to come up with a way to make him work. Now, he's not just a Kayn, right? Kayn could only be used in Rift, and there were other options. If you didn't have Kayn, you could still do Rift with plenty of other options, with Surmia, with Mercedes, with Jacko. This Rift, I don't think you're going to be able to do Rift without him. Not in any meaningful way. We'll have to see. We'll have to see when the full Rift kit comes out, but the things that you need to do in Rift seem so written around his kit, and no one else really has that. So I don't know. I mean, you can always do it, right? It just might take 25 entries to clear at one time, but you can always do it. But when I mean you can't do Rift, I mean you want to be able to do Rift in a way where doing Rift is better than doing hunts. If doing Rift isn't better than doing hunts, then why are you doing Rift? Just do hunts. And I'm not sure there will be a way to do Rift that's better than hunts without Wukong. We'll have to see, though. Now, the other thing that Wukong has got for him that Kayn doesn't have is Wukong looks like he'll be really good in Guild Wars for dealing with Janua. He might well make Janua disappear from defenses. Janua is all over the place in normal Banner Arena, and a lot of people are going to want to push Banner Arena because after the 20th, the following Monday, we get the new arena where there's the Emperor rank and all new Sky Stones to get. So a lot of people will be pushing for that to get the Sky Stones to do their pulls. Yeah, 2,700 more Sky Stones in that. So Wukong might have really good use there as well, as we just saw in the arena fight. So I think he's going to have uses outside of Rift. What I don't think he's going to have is used on RTA, but there are a lot of people with bigger brains than I have about RTA who are going to be able to come up with some stuff. Surely, hopefully, knock on wood. Until then, it's a bunch of wait and see, but yeah, I wouldn't get super excited about Wukong changing the meta or anything. But anyway, that's my 2 cents on it. I hope that helps give some clarity. The Artie is a really nice stat stick. I think it's not necessary for him, but it's going to make him a lot easier to build. I mean, it doesn't need to be plus 30, but every time you level it, you're going to get what, 6... like 2 or 3 additional crit chance. It's a lot of gear score per level. I definitely wouldn't like wail for it, that's for sure. We're probably going to be going around boss mechanics once this rift drops. Oh hell yeah, yeah. We'll spend all day sitting in here theory crafting rift teams. I've got some teams that I think will work, but what will actually work, we won't know until we dive into it. And remember, last time when we had rift, get some music. Last time when we had rift, it was it changed at different rift core levels, right? There was like, you use this team for RC 2 through 8, use this team for RC 8 through 15, use this team at RC 20,000, whatever it was. And that's because we got those devices and they did really important things. They made it so the front row unit didn't get hit with pen, so you could run somebody who wasn't a knight in the front row. They made it so you could attack twice on the back row. So, you know, until we know what those rift cores are, we don't know how brutal this is going to be. What if one of the rift cores is any unit in the front row AoEs with their main attack? Suddenly, Wukong becomes the least used unit in rift. So yeah, we got to see what the rift cores do before we can really decide what the teams are going to be.